Hello, welcome to Typology Gifts. This is Dan. I'm here with Philip. If you're new to the channel, what I do is I talk to people and try to give them my opinion of what personality type I think they are, and it's never really an attempt to force some kind of classification on you, but to offer you an outside opinion from outside of your own brain. And then we can compare it to a type you came in thinking you were, or that you had other people tell you that you thought you were, and we can just sort of talk about it. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay, cool. Um, yeah, welcome. So, okay, great. So the first question that I like to ask people is is don't feel like you can answer this the wrong way. It's really just a pretty open-ended question, just to listen to you talk. But the question I like to ask is, would you say that you think you're a more of a proactive or a reactive type of person?
I would say when I was, here's the thing, when I was much younger, I was probably way more reactive.
Mm-hmm.
And as time went on and I got older, I started becoming less reactive and more reflective. So I
Mm-hmm.
guess in that sense it would be proactive.
And is that how, like, was there a catalyst that caused that, or was it just like your kind of natural evolution as a person?
I would say it was just growth, yeah, like natural evolution.
Um, what's something like what's something that you would say was meaningful to you about that transition?
The most important thing was not to I had a lot of trouble in school, like reacting to too many things that were around me, and I didn't pace myself properly. So I
Mm-hmm.
had to had to hold myself just a little bit back and just study things and say, take it a certain different approach where I didn't have to jump out and get kind of like emotional of a response.
Mm-hmm.
So it was more of me reflecting and thinking, maybe I should have done this or that. So I've pretty much scrapped the whole notion of me just having what most kids my age did, which was impulsive stuff. I really couldn't really understand and didn't really get that being around other kids that were impulsive.
How did it affect you?
In a much more brighter way than it did for most because I've met some like I've some of the some of the kids that I knew from back then that I know today are just as bad as they were in that regard, where they're so like they have like an engine going and they can't stop themselves from doing certain things. And I tell myself I'm so glad I never turned out in that kind of way, where I'm just in someone's face every time that I don't get something, or I'm just like instigating an answer from someone out of no context whatsoever.
Um, what do you think prevented you mm, from making the mistakes that you're referring to?
Can you repeat that?
You you um you kind of imply that there were people that you grew up with who made certain kinds of mistakes, but you uh, didn't make those mistakes, and you're grateful that you didn't. That's am I bouncing it back at you the right way?
Yeah. Yep.
So what prevented you from making those mistakes?
Staying away from the drama, just staying away from anything that has to do with bad influences, and you know, I have a friend or two trying to get me to, come to their side and get into some argument with some, they like have a disagreement with some bad group of people, and they're just like, hey, come take my side, and I got this really cool thing I can do for you afterwards. I'm like, no, no. I can tell, even like a mouse can tell a mile away that you're up to no good, dude. It's just, leave me alone. I don't want to be a part of it. And as a result, I like always had you know, the whole thing of not getting involved in drama, especially when it comes to like my neighborhood where there's drama all the time. And I'm just doing my own thing, walking down the street. It's like, I don't care about this. I don't care about anything. I just want to get back into my room and just do my thing.
So what is your thing? What is the thing that you're trying to get back to your room to do?
Well, most of the times it's like going on the internet, watching YouTube, or playing a video game,
Hmm.
or watching movies. Anything that's um, anything that's like within my interest.
Do you work on any like projects of any kind?
No big projects.
So just mostly leisure?
Yeah.
Would you say that you are how flexible or rigid of a person would you say that you are?
I'm really flexible. Like, I'm
Hmm.
open-minded towards most things. Despite like how some people might put me like, oh, he's so rigid. I'm not like that at all. Even at work, they think that, oh God, he works like they think that all the time that I'm some rigid, hard ass person. I'm not. You
Why
know,
do they think that?
it's probably just like surface level stuff that they see, the looks. But once they like get to know me, and then they're like, "Oh wow, this is different." I'm like true to myself in that way.
Hmm. When you said the looks, what did you mean by looks? Did you mean like your presentation, or do you mean like how you get your work done, or do you mean like telling other people how to get their work done, or what do you mean exactly by that?
It's like I suppose it's like most of it's like say it's like the presence that I give off.
Hmm.
I don't know, but like everyone seems to be negatively influenced when I'm around. I get the sense of that.
Hmm.
You get like the feeling that I know what they're feeling, what they're kind of like assuming, and it's not right, and it just like bothers me. And I want to like tell them that it's not like that or anything, but they're gonna still like run with it if I feel that they're gonna kind of do that, and I just don't even bother. I just kind of like keep to myself and just do my work.
Hmm. 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 Are you familiar with the term "someone does not suffer fools"?
You know,
It kind of means like if somebody's acting foolish, that person is like not going to have any of it. How well does that describe you or not describe you?
so it's like if someone's acting. Let me try to break this down. So if someone's like acting really foolish, and I'm in there, about me or something, I'm gonna be just not. I don't want nothing to do with them. Is that what you mean?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, like, I guess the way I could put it is, some people react kind of playfully to like um, to someone in their vicinity, like making a fool of themselves. But who knows why they're doing it? It could be for laughs, or it could be for whatever reason. They're just doing things that are socially foolish. And then other people are really kind of upset by that and kind of like try to shut that down. So where do you fall, or they try to escape it, right? I mean, there's a lot of different reactions people can have, but like, what would you say your reaction to that kind of thing usually is?
If it's someone that I know and I'm like, cool with, and they're just acting, whatever in the moment, but it's like I know you don't really mean it or anything like that, so I tend to just like, I'm not. I'm not like superimposing, like saying you can't do this or you can't do, like, I'm not like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just probably just like stand there and just do my own thing. I'm gonna probably pay too much attention to it
Mm-hmm.
because I know
Mm-hmm.
some people will like call them out and say like, certain things. For me, it just like it just rolls off of me.
Is it hard to hurt your feelings?
No, it's a little easy too, depending on like what they do to get my like. For an example, someone was like talking about like a certain thing that I enjoy doing, like a certain video game that I like, and I was
Mm-hmm.
talking about the music, and this is a friend of mine, and he's just like, I can't understand why you would ever want to listen to video game music, but little like anyone else's credit, like he doesn't even like music. Like you can ask him, what do you think about this music, and he's just like, well, I don't really care. I don't really understand why anyone's gushing over video game music or something. But I'll just be like, nah, man. It's got meaning to it. Or you know, uh, it feels really good to listen to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, do you think that you are, I don't know, like how connected are you to the arts then? You mentioned music quite a bit. Um, Anything else artistic, I guess, that you're connected to?
I like minimalistic art.
Mm-hmm.
Usually minimalistic art. Sometimes if I'm like looking at some landscape or naturescape, a landscape kind of thing, or if I'm like watching a video that has like I listen to sometimes like synth wave or vapor wave just to chill out to, and I see this kind of like landscape. I'm kind of wondering. My mind like wonders what kind of art can I find that's similar to that. So I'll
Mm-hmm.
like look for it, and oh, it's all right. I'm more of minimalistic art than you know big art, but yeah, I can, if it definitely makes me feel really good about it, I'll probably use it as like my wallpaper or something on my
Mm-hmm.
desktop.
Mm-hmm. How well do you know how you feel about things?
Very strongly.
Yeah, strongly. Is there what would you say you're not sure about how you feel about? Is there anything you can think of that you're not sure about how you feel about? Or do you kind of go through life like you know exactly how you feel about everything?
No, I usually pretty good with that. Like I know exactly how I feel about a certain thing.
Okay. What about like sports and things like that? Are you have any kind of like background with any kind of either sports or physical activities or it could be beyond sports, honestly. It could be other kinds of, it could be survival, uh, anything like that requires physical ability.
You said survival. I was getting ideas about survival. That's pretty cool. Um, Usually I go out for like walks every day as much as I can as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing really intense. Um, yeah, it's just pretty much walking at this point.
What do you do when you're walking?
Usually put on my earbuds and listen to music,
Mm-hmm.
take
So,
in the scenery, the music, everything.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So would you say you're pretty in the moment when it comes to just your surroundings, I guess?
Very much.
Yeah. So you probably excel at anything that requires like attention to what's going on like this right now, right? Right? Probably. How
Yeah,
far?
that's the thing. Like everyone. Oh,
Yeah, go
sorry.
ahead. No, go ahead. What were you gonna say? Everyone says what
Everyone
or
used to
does?
tell me like he's so in the moment with everything. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's all sorts of stuff around me, like
Mm-hmm.
at certain times and places, and everyone's like wondering what I'm doing, and I'm like just like interfacing or interacting with. It could be anything like a tablet or a
Mm-hmm.
computer parts.
What's a belief that you hold strongly?
It's this isn't really a belief. It's more like a philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like keep your expectations low and you won't be disappointed.
It's a good one. Reasonable expectations, right?
Oh, I
Or
just think
lower than reasonable.
yeah, very.
Lower your
I've seen
expectations is what you're saying.
yeah, yeah. So a lot of times I've come across others that have their expectations are just like way way high, and I'm going, you're gonna be so disappointed if you keep that up all the time. And they get so mad at me, and they're like, "Yeah, you're right." And I'm like, "Mm-hmm." Lower them just a little bit.
Okay, that's interesting. Um, how far, like everyone, you're obviously very kind of in the moment person, but I'm sure you don't just completely ignore any kind of planning, right? So, I mean, how far in advance would you say that you plan?
Not too far out. If
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to like the store or something, I'll know exactly I'm going to go to this place at
Mm-hmm.
this store whenever I get up and decide to do it, and then I'll go to that store. And sometimes like I'll improvise and I might not go to that particular store and I just turn around and do something else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But usually I stick to the goal.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What do you, so do you think that when you're at work, do you think that carries over when you're at work as far as your ability to sort of stick to the goal?
Yes, there's yeah. Sometimes I come across work that requires me to like change right in the middle of doing something,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all right. But if it erupts usually into some oh geez, there's a bigger problem in this other place, and I got to get back to what I was doing in the other section, and I'm not gonna really. That's when I really don't like it because then it's taking away time from doing what I had to do in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not to say that change isn't good, but when I'm kind of working, I'm setting my focus on one thing, and it's with all these other little things, so I got to really get back to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just have that feeling like I got to get back to it.
Okay. Um, let's see here. I'm gonna ask. Uh, I already have a pretty good sense. I think I might know roughly what type you are, but I have to like kind of disprove that. Like I have a theory. That's the way I would put it. I have a theory. Um, but I'm trying to think of what kind of question I might ask. Um, let's see here. So, would you say that you work better with people or things,
Things.
and why is that?
Well, I like working with my hands.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, any kind of hands-on kind of job is good because I have that experience.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to like people, I can work with them too. There's times where I just prefer to be alone when I'm doing something.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't need like any kind of help or any feedback how I'm doing something, I usually won't be like around too many people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. And how well do you do in situations? Have you been put in any situations where you were in like a leadership situation?
No,
No.
nope.
How do you think you would do in a leadership situation?
If I was in charge of maybe like two or three other people, I
Mm-hmm.
could probably do it.
Mm-hmm.
It would be more like a one-on-one thing at that point. At the same time, if it was like a group of maybe 10 or 20 people, probably not. I pretty much would say no to that.
Why would you say no to that?
I would be kind of like not sure if I'm going to be really good for this kind of leadership
Mhm.
because I know my weaknesses, my strengths, so
Mhm.
it's gonna really rub off on them the wrong way, and I don't want to show them that I'm incompetent or too
Mhm.
ridiculous to deal with. So I try to stay away from all that kind of like big group. If it's like I said, if it's like a couple people,
Mhm.
I could probably do it. It's not going to be that big of a deal.
Mhm. Mhm.
So then I could really narrow in on like what they're feeling and what their opinions are.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay, so here's a question I have for you. If you could change something about your personality to, in some way, in your mind, improve it, what would you change?
Probably like how I envision myself. I need the one thing that I really would wish I could change is like how I can connect certain things and connect it to another thing or this other thing instead of just like focusing in on what I like the big picture kind of thing because I don't know how to connect to that big picture. Like I'll get a
Mhm.
sense of what I need to do, but then when I get to that point, that possibility, I like freeze. I don't know how to proceed. It's
Mm.
one of the worst, probably the least thing that I like about myself. Because in my
Hmm.
head, I'm going like, what's keeping you? What like? Stop holding back. Just do it. Just do it. And it's like I can't do it for some reason. It's like never the right time or something else comes up, and then it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna get that chance again. Oh boy.
Does it feel like kind of like you missed a train? Like there was a train there and you saw it and you weren't able to get there in time and then it goes and you just have to like kind of watch it go?
Yeah,
Okay.
story of my life. Ugh.
Okay. All right. I think I have enough information to tell you what my theory is, and I'm going to do that after the break. So come back for part B, and to those at home, obviously you'll come back because I'll see you in a few minutes after my break. Um, but you doing okay so far?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so friends, we'll see you in part B, where I tell Philip what my theory is and we talk about it, and we'll see where it takes us. Thanks very much.